Hi, y'all. Welcome to Hustle Humbly. It's Alissa and Katy, and we are two top producing realtors in the Baton Rouge market.
We work for two different companies where we should be competitors, but we have chosen community over competition.
The goal of our podcast is to encourage you to find your own way in business.
So stop comparing yourself and start embracing your strengths. Hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katy.
How's it going over there?
Fine.
It's episode 230.
Okay.
And let's do this together. Are you ready?
Yes.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Oh my gosh, has this been in your hand? Wow, look at that.
Now it's even more festive here.
It is. If you're not on YouTube, look, I got confetti on my microphone.
You might have missed out. My paper has never looked better.
That is hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the year 2024. And if we weren't going to start it off like that,
With a bang.
Why even bother?
Yes.
I have just thrown confetti over literally every bit. Are you brushing off your nose?
She didn't tell me she was going to do that. That was amazing.
Oh, just a little extra surprise for you for 2024.
For those of you that ask us pretty often how much time we spend prepping for each episode, the answer is as least as possible.
I mean, not because we don't love and appreciate you and want to bring you good product,
but because we want it to be a surprise for all of us.
For everyone.
Like, we want y'all to see our actual reactions to what each other has to say.
I worked up a sweat just throwing that confetti.
So I didn't even know that this confetti was coming.
Do you recognize this confetti?
Yes.
Okay.
It's from the hotel room.
It literally might have come off of a hotel room floor.
Yes. Where we took brand photos.
Is it in my hair? That's my question. Okay.
It's beautiful.
How
are you gonna? Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi. Today's Monday.
Yeah. The first Monday.
The first Monday of 2024.
Wow. What an opportunity.
I mean, we felt so inspired by the fact that it was not just the first day of the year, but it's a Monday. Like, that fresh start.
Right.
Monday morning.
Yeah.
Making it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But we're doing it big.
For
the whole year. So I'm like, let's call it You Get 52 Mondays.
Right.
And we'll do like a big mindset episode.
Mm-hmm.
Except for how many Mondays are there?
Guess what, guys? 2024 is going to be so good. And let me tell you why.
Please.
Not only do you get an extra Monday because the first is a Monday, so you're going to get 53 Mondays, but it's also a leap year.
Literally a whole extra day.
You get an entire extra 24 hours this year.
What will you do?
I hope you take a day off.
At least one.
That's what I'm going to do.
Just one day off. But here's the good news. When you're getting all motivated by this episode and we're talking about You Get 52 Mondays, it doesn't even count today.
No.
Today is
Why?
it's a holiday. Because you're going to get 52 more.
Right.
There are 53 total.
Right.
You're going to get 52 additional Mondays.
Right.
And as we like to say in Louisiana, that's just a little lanyap.
A little extra.
A little something extra. So we have a whole extra day. And I said before we got on, what are some synonyms for bonus or extra? And there is only one synonym that really counts in Louisiana, and it's lanyap, which just means a little something extra in, I guess, Cajun French.
Sure.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have a little something extra.
Okay.
This year.
It just gives it a little something extra.
Don't you think?
Don't you think?
Don't you think?
Do you feel like the real estate industry is obsessed with leads, but nobody is talking about how to convert them? We wanted to give you a system to take each lead and opportunity that comes in and convert them to a client and referrer for life.
Build your own business. We'll walk you through how to prioritize and work each lead that comes in so that no one slips through the cracks. Find out more at hustlehumblypodcast.com/BYOB. Okay, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with, let's go back in time?
Oh, okay.
Because the best place to know where you're going is to look at where you've been.
Oh.
And I think a lot of us been to some very dark places in 2023. It wasn't the best market.
It wasn't.
We had some pretty unfortunate news stories.
For realtors.
So I would say we're going to review it.
Okay.
We're going to move on from it.
Okay.
Okay.
Leave it in the past.
We're going to leave it in the past.
We're moving forward.
Because it's a fresh start.
Yeah.
I hope it can't be worse. One would hope.
One would hope.
Okay, so do you want to review with us your numbers? Tell us again, because we kind of went over it in a recent episode when we did the number tracking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what you're tracking, but when it's time to do the numbers.
Yes, it is time.
Okay, what do you want to share with us about?
So
Are you still in holiday mode? Like, have you moved on?
I'm still in holiday mode because my children are still out of school.
Mine are out until next Monday.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Way too long.
That's a whole nother week.
Way too long.
Yeah. But that's okay. We can still go back over our numbers.
Yeah. So this was the first time that my year was down.
From ever.
From ever.
Every single year was better than the last.
Always.
Had to end somewhere.
Had to end somewhere. Not only did it end,
with a bang, it landed with a thud.
Yes. Yes.
It was like, oh.
It is down.
I mean, mine is too.
Very down.
I know. And it's such a weird dynamic for me because the podcast has become such a huge part of what I'm doing.
Yes.
Every week. I'm still working that is my full-time job.
Shall we talk about that?
I mean, I don't know.
We talked about it a lot with our listeners in California that we
Yeah.
met in person.
Sure.
Because they're like, how does this work?
Right. Because in the inception of the podcast in 2019, that was my full-time job as it was yours.
We are
Just sold real estate.
yes.
But when you have a 4-year-old podcast,
That is growing
right.
into more than we ever thought it would grow, to be totally honest.
Right. In order to keep it going, and
Yeah.
the quality up, and all of the there's so much back end.
There is so much back end. I just witnessed Katy set up all the emails for the Black Friday deals. And
Stop.
I wanted to poke this pencil through my eyeball.
Right. Luckily, I like to write an email,
Yeah.
but I do a lot of that these days.
Oh my gosh.
I spend sometimes 3 days inside of the house and literally don't leave the premises.
I know.
So point being, I still sell real estate,
Yeah.
just not as the main mode of my business.
Yeah.
Like I don't have time.
You work your repeat clients.
And I will say, I am very grateful and thankful and aware of the fact that has probably saved me from what would have been a really bad, rough year.
yeah.
I mean, like, it would have been pretty tough. But also, I'm not looking for business. So it's kind of hard
I
for me
know.
to tell. Like,
Yeah.
is it because I have referred some out? I'm certainly not marketing my real estate business. I will absolutely work with my favorite past clients in certain areas.
Yeah.
Like, are you close to me? Because I have a lot of other stuff I have to get done.
Right.
So we'll do your numbers and then we'll do mine. But mine were down too.
Okay.
But I think everyone's were maybe down.
Sure.
Most people.
Yeah.
Look, if your numbers were down, don't fret.
Do not fret.
So do you want to tell us the number?
If me, the Enneagram 3, can sit here without crying and tell you how down my numbers were, then anybody can
Anyone
be
can
okay.
survive this.
Anybody. If I can
Anyone.
do it, anybody can.
Okay, do you want me to tell you mine and that'll make you feel better? Which way do you want to go?
You go first.
All right, I'll go first. Okay, so as you may recall in the number tracking episode, I talked about my career overview.
Yes.
I updated it
you
for
did
this
all
year.
that this year?
Oh, no.
Oh, that looks like a lot.
No, it's every year of the whole
Oh,
thing.
I see.
I have had my license and had sales since 2006.
Okay.
Okay, so we're at year 18.
Mhm.
This year, I closed the least amount of transactions I have ever closed at 5.
5 houses sold this year.
Sold 5.
That's crazy.
Pretty wild. Their average sales price was $333,000.
Okay.
My favorite number's 3, so I'll go with that. Volume, that was under $2 million in volume because there's only 5
Wow.
houses.
Yeah.
That put my commission, this is disturbing me at a high level. My gross commission's at $40,000, which is the average income of a realtor.
Yeah.
So you may not even make that, and bless you if you don't. But that's where I was at. The year before, I did 14 transactions, so it was down to a third.
Yeah.
And my total commissions that year, 2022, was 119,000 with $5 million in volume. So big drop.
Yeah. Huge drop.
Huge drop. That would have required me to get a part-time job.
Correct.
The good news is I have a full-time job. It's called podcasting.
Yeah.
But like if I had just been my regular old self, I would have had to get another job.
Well, I think you would have done more than that if you were. I know what you do for the podcast, and I know how long it takes. So I have no doubt in my mind.
If I put it into the real estate.
Yes.
Yes. I think
100%.
Let's all just agree that's correct. All right. Now tell us your numbers.
Okay.
Will you tell us 2020, 2022 so we have a reference?
Yep.
Okay.
So in 2022, I sold 70 homes.
Yeah.
This year, I sold 41.
Mm-hmm.
I am down 41%.
That's a lot
in the quantity
of houses,
of
number of
houses.
transactions. Okay.
Last year, selling 70 homes, my volume was 26 million.
It's amazing.
That was my best year.
Ever by volume.
Okay. Now, it was not last year. I have sold 99 homes in a year before.
Right, but the volume
never
didn't
broke
get
100, but I didn't get the volume to 26. I think I got it to 24.
Okay.
So last year was a record for volume.
Your volume. That's all that matters.
This year, my volume will land at about 17 million.
Okay. I mean, that's 9 million less.
So it's down 38% from last year.
You know what's interesting? And I don't know the exact number, but our market sales or the number of homes that have sold is down 30% from last year. So, I mean, you can't beat the system. Like if the market's down,
right,
you might be down.
And I will say, considering how hard the year was, I would love to know. So this was also my first year to change some things for the podcast, truly. In the past, before 2023, we would meet every Tuesday.
Correct.
That's all we did.
That's all we did.
How did we do that?
I don't know.
As it has grown and, you know, I have just come to enjoy it like so much. And I think in 2023, actually getting to meet our listeners, for me, that was huge because I struggle to like really connect with people on the internet. So to meet all these people in person was so helpful for me to see like what an impact we
just
have.
Validates what you're doing.
Yeah, it's not a waste of time. You are making a difference. So it just sort of was very helpful for me. All of that to say, in 2023, I took off 2 days every week for the podcast.
Impressively so.
Every Tuesday and every Thursday, Katy can testify that it worked most of the time.
Honestly, more than I would have thought.
Yeah. I mean, you know, when I taught those line dancing classes, it did kind of get in the way.
I love that you did that, though. We have to be well-rounded.
Yes.
We cannot just be realtors.
Leading up to our company Christmas party, I taught line dancing classes on Tuesday mornings in the office to prepare everyone for the Christmas party.
Can't wait to see those videos.
So I would come at 10:30 instead of 9 a.m. on Tuesdays, the last quarter, while we prepared. And you know, I thought I would be more upset about it when I saw, but I feel okay. And also I made a few other notes.
I'd like to stop you right here. I can only imagine the number of people listening who are like, yeah, I'd feel pretty okay if I did 26 million in volume.
Well, I did 16.
I mean, 16.
17, whatever.
17. I never hit 17 once in my whole career.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a ton. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is.
Point being, carry on.
So this year, not only did I take 2 days off a week, but it was my first year that I referred business locally to other people.
Yeah.
And
normally you just do it all.
I would just do it all.
Make it work.
I would do it all. Sometime, and I will say the first like 2 or 3 times that I did it,
it felt weird.
I hated it.
Like,
But then when after I did it and they were like, thank you so much, I was like,
okay.
And then I kind of got a little too happy with it.
You were like, you know what?
Like,
I don't feel like doing this today.
I don't feel like doing any of this. No. So sometimes I would refer it out because of it being too far.
The location.
Like I don't want to go to that parish or county, whatever y'all want to call it. We call it parish. It was too far.
Right.
Or it was just like a sign call, like a total stranger. So I just didn't have it in me to do it.
Yeah.
But I also really enjoyed passing along some of these nuggets to like the agents that were struggling this year.
For sure.
Like I loved doing that.
Like you don't need to sell all the houses, and that one referral to them might have made a big difference.
Yes.
Like between staying with it and quitting.
It was like to see them be so appreciative of
Yeah.
something I was dreading calling this person back.
Then that
I
puts
was
it in
like,
perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just felt so good. So
love
I
it.
referred a lot out this year.
Love that.
One time I was in the office working and someone called me on one of my listings and one of my favorite new agents was on phone duty. So I just gave it to her
Mhm.
and she went and showed the house for me to that person. But then every time I got a sign call on that house, I just gave it to her because she had been to the house. She knew I had prepped her on everything. So she was like my person for all the leads for that house. And it was just nice. Also 2023, I used to be a Dave Ramsey endorsed realtor.
Mhm.
I am no longer. It was great and fine. I just don't need it. It was a lot of work.
Mhm.
And so I just cut that out.
So you're not giving your money to Dave anymore?
I'm not giving my money to Dave anymore. And I'm just working my repeat and referrals only.
Right.
And so
do you remember what month you quit that?
It was the very end of 2022.
So you didn't have it
I
at
had
all.
nothing in 2023.
Got it.
I also did not do a single open house. Well, I did 2 open houses in 2023.
In December.
In December.
At the end.
At the very end. So I went almost a whole year.
But you hadn't done one
since before COVID.
So several years.
Yes.
This is just coming back.
As the market has slowed down, I'm starting to get back into it. So I'm like, am I down 40%? I wish that it was more stable so I could really pinpoint because I love to track.
I know, and it's so hard to quantify. Well, you didn't do open houses.
Yeah, I didn't do open houses. I didn't have the Dave Ramsey leads. I took 2 days a week off every single week.
When you sent the referrals, did they pay you a referral fee? Were you tracking that?
Sometimes. It
Not
depended.
all the time.
It just depended.
Or like the sign calls, had you taken them, you might have turned them.
Right. Like it just depends,
You'll never really know.
You'll notice on my graph that I only have like a few, like I don't have an open house column. I don't have.
Because you didn't work that type of business.
Right.
Okay, interesting.
Right. So of the 41 homes I sold, 20 of them were referrals.
Perfect.
16 of them were repeat clients. So I have sold them a house before.
Okay.
2 of them were from like volunteering.
Okay.
5 of them were from other realtors.
Out of town.
Okay. That sent me things. 2 of them were from the children.
The school? not actual children. Your children's
One
contacts?
was Haven's best friend's grandma.
Okay.
Moved here.
Okay.
And one was Tate's best friend from his class.
Their current class.
Yes, his best friend's mom and dad bought a house with me.
Precious.
So they're, just paying for that school.
Well,
the kids.
Yeah, right. Well, look, perfect.
7 of my 20 listings that I sold this year were houses that I sold to them.
Okay.
So I got to revisit 7 houses.
But they still fall into that repeat column.
They do.
Of the total.
Yes. 7 of the 16 repeats. I got to revisit the house.
Got it. I love that.
I did not have any listings expire.
Really?
I had one that I withdrew that I will relist at a later date.
Right.
Maybe in the spring.
In another episode.
Yeah, maybe in the spring.
Okay.
But I didn't have any.
Just run out.
I had one that I was like, well, this is the one that's going to expire.
And
it sold just in the nick of time.
Was this the one that was under contract?
No.
And what happened to that one?
It's still active.
Okay, but it didn't expire.
Right.
You're still working it.
I'm still
active. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
People always like to ask, like, where do you get your business? So I just made a few notes for you.
Please, let's hear them.
As I was reminiscing, I really enjoyed this. Okay.
I love it.
Okay, so my youngest sister is in CRNA school to become a nurse anesthetist. One of her schoolmates was moving here from Colorado.
Love it.
And I sold her a house.
Okay.
The lady who has cleaned my home every Monday for the last 14 years, her daughter bought a house.
I love that.
Cleaning lady called me and was like, can you help her? And I was like, yes, of course. Our office secretary has a son.
Uh-huh.
I helped him buy his first home.
That's cute. I'm loving the fact that there's a first-time home buyer out there this year.
I know.
That's awesome.
They actually got pre-approved for a bond program and got so much money.
Oh, great.
It was a really cool situation.
Okay.
One of my sister's friends' dads.
Okay.
I had never met him before, but he was like, "You're her sister. I hear, I want to buy some investment property." He bought 3 houses with me this year. This year.
Oh, wow.
My repeats saved me this year.
100%.
I'll get into that more.
Okay.
I sold a house to this girl and her dad came along for every showing and we closed them and I wrote him a thank you card and he bought a house after.
I love that.
And then another dad, I sold his daughter a house last year and I really thought he didn't care for me. But this wasn't one of my sales, but he called me in December and we're going to list his house in the spring.
Okay, so coming soon.
So I got some business from that. But it's like, the girl, like sometimes when I have an event and want to get a spray tan, my spray tan girl, I have her house under contract. It's going to close. So like
everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone you come in contact with is a possibility.
Yes. And people don't believe that. Like they just believe that I'm paying for these leads.
But you're not.
I'm not. That's why I wanted to share these examples.
Literally this year you paid no other lead service.
No, nothing.
0.
I also was like super surprised, like my office secretary. Like she called me?
Yeah, she knows every realtor in your office.
I was just surprised. Like that was so nice, I
love that.
So you just never know.
Numbers.
Yeah, you never know. I feel really good about this year.
I hope that you feel proud.
I think when I first looked at the numbers and realized how low they were from last year, I did sort of feel like down. But then I was categorizing them and I was having to go through and like look at them all. And I just got excited again because like I remember all these transactions. And like it was a great year.
Honestly, it's a little bit easier also to remember and get deeper and be more available to 40 people than 70 or 90.
Right.
Like you're doing it. I know that you're doing a good job no matter how many it is, but you maybe have a little bit more of an intimate relationship with the small, like, just have a little, you're more available to them.
I feel that. Okay,
I love that. All right. So that's looking back. I would like to share, we were going to talk about other things that changed this year. I tracked some different numbers this year.
Okay.
I sent an email early on in the year. So interesting. It's the first year of my real estate career that I didn't pick a number of transactions. And I think we can all see how that turned out. It was not my focus.
Yeah.
If I had even like the last year, I picked 12 because I wanted to do less than the year before to make time for the podcast and ended up doing 14. So for the record, y'all, I have never set a real estate transaction goal that I met, even when I was trying to do less. I failed.
Right.
I failed whenever I wanted to do more every year. I failed when I wanted to do less. This year, I set no transaction goal and basically no transactions happened. I mean, 5. Okay, 5. But I didn't have a transaction goal, but I really had some like health and well-being goals that were more important to me.
Yeah.
So I started counting up.
Okay.
For the record, before my surgery last year, when I had back issues, I never took baths. I don't like baths. They're not my jam. I like a shower in and out. This is what I'm doing. I'm like, the baths during that time frame were more relaxing. Maybe I need to relax. I need to take it easy. Like, I just need to be more aware of like stress and all these things. So I'm like, I'm going to take 100 baths this year.
Oh my, you counted?
Every time I just made a Google note, like a note in your phone.
This is hilarious.
And every time I either did my stretches in the morning, because I wanted to do 100 days of stretches.
Okay.
And 100 days of baths. I figured that's 200 days if I do it on opposing days.
Right.
There's 360. And then I wanted to do 100 meditations. I blew out the water, the baths, and the stretches. Love it. Easy to put into place. I did them. Feel great about that. I think I ended up doing like 20 meditations.
That's still a lot. I'm surprised you made it that
for the
far.
whole year. It's not that many. It was like 4 or 5 per quarter. And I segmented out, and I'll send the email list this if they are even remotely interested, but I segmented out the quarters. So I could
Okay.
be like, well, did I do better than last? So then I was kind of comparing, hey, well, I did 20 baths in the first quarter. Like, am I going to get?
Yeah.
And look, you can pick any method of self-care or relaxation or what, like, is it a walk, a 5-minute walk, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
I drank all my water that day.
whatever.
Yeah.
I just picked a few things that I thought would help my health and well-being and calm down my central nervous system, which was kind of what I was working with. And that's what I tracked. Then, hi friends, we owe you a huge debt of gratitude, and we wanted to say thank you for writing reviews for the show. And why do we want to say thank you?
It is because of the number of reviews that we have that Jenna Kutcher reached out to us to be on the podcast.
That's right. So your reviews not only help other people know what the podcast is about and if they should listen and if it would be good for them, it also helps the guests that we want to bring you to give you more value realize we're a show worth coming on.
Yes, the reviews give us credibility and allows us to bring these people on. So a huge thank you to everyone that has left us a review.
Yes, thank you so much. Keep bringing on those reviews. I started to track naps because I'm like, naps are good. Let's do naps. I wasn't trying to get to 100, but I think I ended up having like 6 to 8 naps per quarter, which I feel like is a couple of naps a month. That's pretty
nice.
good, right?
That's nice.
I know, like made me feel great. I read my very first book for pleasure of my entire adult life.
I'm so proud of you.
No, I'm not a reader.
Mhm.
I just would rather not. I'll watch TV, look at a magazine, but to read a whole book, not my jam. It was delightful.
You enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it so much.
Good.
I traveled much more. And that was on my goal list to do a couple of trips for the podcast, to have my certain number of family vacations. Like I met every one of those goals.
Good.
I feel so positive about what I accomplished. It doesn't always present itself in numbers of your business.
Agreed.
So I feel like it was a total win. I don't know what I'm going to do for 2024. Do
Do
you know what you're going to focus on for 2024?
I don't really. And I know that's not the answer we should say to all of our people.
I think I'm going to work on walking
Okay.
because I have the treadmill under the desk,
Mm-hmm.
and I listened to this really great podcast in 2023. It was a Mel Robbins episode about walking with a scientist who has studied walking. And y'all, I hope you're walking while you're listening to this. It is so good for you.
Yeah, you keep walking.
It is so good for you.
Mhm.
But it was like, increase your walking by 5,000 steps. Whatever you're doing now, just increase it by 5,000. So if you're sedentary, just 5,000 steps.
Yeah.
So I might do some walking, but we'll
That's
see. Okay. Shall we talk about Mondays? Do you think people are feeling inspired because it's a Monday? Are they feeling like womp womp?
They're like, dang it, we get an extra Monday. I hate Mondays.
Mondays.
Everybody seems to, Monday gets a really bad rap.
You're like, I'll start on Monday.
Yeah.
I don't want to start on a, Wednesday.
Yeah. Diet
Start on
starts Monday.
Yeah.
I'll start exercising Monday. It's always Monday.
But you always did like a never miss a Monday vibe.
So when I worked out at this other place, he always said, never miss a Monday, never miss a Monday. And so to me, it was like, never miss a Monday.
You gotta go.
I got to start it off on the right foot.
Yeah.
And if you don't miss your Monday, the rest of the week is good. So I always kind of liked looking at Mondays as like a reset. We also have our Monday morning meetings.
Yeah, you're checking in.
I'm checking in.
I do feel like the podcast has brightened up some Monday mornings.
Yes.
We get that message a lot from
Yes.
listeners. Like, I hated Mondays and now I'm waiting for the show.
Mhm.
So we're just here.
You're welcome.
We're just here transforming Mondays.
You're welcome.
One at a time. One at a time. I mean, I don't hate a Monday.
I don't hate a Monday
I've always
either.
said I love it because selfishly, it's when my children go back to school.
I know. Yes, I feel that.
And I can have take a deep breath, clean up the common area of the house, kind of just reset everything before bless them. They don't make that big of a mess now, but it's enough.
Right.
I'm just I just need that. When I was a kid growing up, I loved my bedroom. I was mostly neat. I kept it clean. I love being inside of the 4 walls of my room. It's your space that you control.
Yeah.
Right? I decorate it however I want, clean it whenever, the whole thing. It's all my stuff, right?
Okay.
As an adult, I struggle with the fact that my house is my room, right? It's the whole thing.
Yes.
And there's all these other freaking people in here touching all my stuff.
Right.
They're like moving it around. Bless them. Love them all. But it's not the same. And that's why I think I love my office so much.
Yeah.
Because even my bedroom, although Jay is doing precious little in there to like mess it up, it's not the only space that's mine is my office.
Yeah.
And technically, it's kind of yours too on 2 days a week.
Yes.
But that's why I'm like, people are like, oh, I love your office. I'm like, this is my room.
Right.
Nobody's allowed to come in here without asking for my permission. Speaking of that, we have a new addition to our room.
Ta-da!
I know. If you're on the YouTube, you can see our fancy new neon.
This is our neon sign from California.
I know.
We got it for the expo that we did in Anaheim.
It's like my favorite thing.
And we shipped it back to us here in Baton Rouge.
That's right. And it does all sorts of interesting things, like flashing like real neon.
Yeah. So bright.
So all year, get ready. You can see this neon in our videos. Okay, so you don't really have goals for the year. Let's talk a little bit about mindset in general. Okay? Because I actually made a note. Goals are great, but mindset, let's plan our mindset.
Yes.
Like, what do we want to focus on? How do we want to feel at the end of 2024? How do you feel today?
Right.
Like, make yourself a little note. This is how I'm feeling today, and this is how I want to feel at the end of the year or the end of the quarter. Like, why? Let's check. I love checking in every quarter.
Yeah.
I'm going to read the 12-week year for sure.
I've heard so many people reading that book.
I have always wanted to, and I do think it's wise to, like, instead of putting so much pressure on a whole year being a certain way, why not break it into those quarter chunks?
Yeah.
And like kind of make those goals that fit in that bubble.
I don't know what it is. You know, I've talked about this before, but goals have always just overwhelmed me. Maybe it's my Enneagram 3 fear of failure.
Right.
That if you don't have goals, you can't fail.
Can't miss them.
I trust myself enough to like work. Like I know I'm going to work. So it's like that's just the best I can do.
You almost don't need goals. You need limits.
Yes, I feel that way.
You need to be held back in some ways.
Yes. Now, I did have a few things like, for example, in December, my book club and I trained to run a 5K.
I saw that was
I hadn't really been running.
All right.
But I had to train for that. And I ran the whole thing without stopping.
That's
and I was
amazing.
like, I did not think that was going to happen. So I want to kind of keep that up.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I don't necessarily want to go much further than that.
No.
But if Haven...
Your body doesn't want to either.
Right.
I mean, in general.
I feel like if Haven was like, Mom, we're doing the mile run at school. Can you come with me? Like, I would just be ready.
Great.
Like, yeah, I could run a mile, you know? Like, so I think I want to keep that up. I'm excited. And then a few other just like health and wellness things as well this year and working on being a little bit more present. Well, after
people love details.
I know they do love details.
I mean, by all means, keep anything private that you want to.
For example, Tate is 2. And after I finished like nursing him, he's my last kid. So I'm like, okay, I'm done having kids and I'm done nursing. So I've like reclaimed my body back.
Yeah,
and I'm
just for you.
Like I just found like a functional wellness doctor, got some blood work done and like getting everything back on track and like making sure all the like just taking care of myself. You know what was very interesting?
What?
You know how I always drink like a gallon of water a day?
That was too much?
Yes.
Somehow this doesn't surprise me.
Let me explain.
I want to hear it.
I was drinking a gallon of water a day and I have for years. I am also like pretty tired a lot, okay?
Was it causing you to be anemic? What was it doing?
It was draining me of all of my electrolytes.
You were just flushing them straight out.
I was just flushing them straight out.
You're just like, no.
Yeah, so one, per your size, you don't need that much water. Like, you drink per your size. Like,
how much were you supposed to be drinking?
Like 0.7 gallons of water a day.
So are you doing that now?
Yeah, I've just cut back a little. Secondly,
now we'll never have to see you carrying that giant jug of
I haven't carried it since I met with that doctor.
Oh my God, amazing.
Second thing, I have to alternate water and like Gatorade or Propel. Like I use Propel, you know.
Yeah.
So that I'm drinking water, but I'm also replenishing my electrolytes.
Oh, okay.
I was depleting my body of nutrients.
You were just flushing them right out.
And I thought I was doing a good thing.
What?
Too much of a good thing.
There is such a thing as too much of a good thing. Just like if you ran too much for your body, if you drank too much water, if you ate only one food group, maybe it was a great vegetable, but you have to have balance.
Right.
There is such a thing as too much of a good thing.
When I changed up the water thing, I noticed a difference by day 2. I was like, wow,
This is amazing.
I feel so much better.
when you stop drinking the water. This is very much you.
Not only cut back on the water, but added in the electrolytes.
You were
Like,
like,
oh my gosh.
oh.
I was like a new person
Oh my
immediately.
God.
Immediately.
Okay, that's a really great story.
You never know.
Okay, let's talk about while we're on getting your mindset set up. I was on the phone with Sarah, and we're gonna actually tell a story. Are you ready for the story?
Yep.
You were there.
Oh,
We went to California.
yeah.
Alissa is making a grocery order. I tell her that I want the human brand chocolate chunks. I want human chunks.
And I'm like, what? How do I even type this in to the app?
To be fair, it never occurred to me that would be thought of as a part of a human, like a body part. Like
like cannibalism.
It's the brand is actually Hue. Now that we've been down this road,
we keep in mind we have been traveling all day at this point. We are jet lagged because we have traveled different time zones.
Right, fair.
The people next to us at this table are smoking a lot of marijuana.
True story.
And I don't know if we were just extra giggly at this point, but when Katy wanted human chocolate chunks, I was like,
She was dying.
so I had to Google it, and I'm like, it's
not.
called Hue. H-U.
But there's more to the story. So I figured out why my mind never even went to the fact that it would be real human chunks.
Okay.
I was just
Ew.
like, chocolate, y'all. What?
Chocolate.
I don't get it.
Yeah, human.
Sarah and I are talking, and she's like, I think Alissa had just read that book, The Choice.
Yes.
And it's like Holocaust.
Yes.
And there's some cannibalism.
Yes,
They have to eat. They have to survive however they have to survive. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. And she says, that's just not the culture that she's talking to me. That's just not the culture that you're consuming. Like, it never occurred to me because I didn't read the book. I wouldn't read anything probably about
that book.
that.
Yes.
Because every night I go to sleep listening to Friends. But it really kind of brought me to a place where I was like, you know what? The culture that you're consuming really does, whether it can be positive and it can be negative. And it's a sum total of everything. But if all you listen to are crime podcasts, then you're going to be afraid of crime or maybe have more incidents of being involved in a crime. Like, because you're going to have more nightmares about crime. Like,
yes.
I can't have a bad dream about the crime that podcast that came out today because I didn't listen to it.
Right.
I don't even know what it's about.
Right.
So the culture of and this is the same for if you're scrolling through Facebook and all of your realtor friends are posting all their awards and you're feeling bad about yourself, or someone's always telling you how much money they made or what fancy thing they're buying, and it just makes you feel bad about yourself. Unfollow.
Yeah.
Don't.
It's okay.
That's what is the culture of what you're consuming.
I have the perfect quote for this.
Let's hear it.
You don't see things as they are. You see things as you are.
It's so true.
Yeah. 100% true.
So true.
Mhm.
So going forward, I will be referring to the chocolate chunks as Hue.
Hue.
Or human, just to be funny.
Hue brand. Hue brand
Hue.
chocolate.
It's just Hue, y'all. But think about for 2024, what is the culture of what you're consuming?
Yeah.
And maybe that means you take a day off from social media. Maybe that means you read a lighthearted book in between the more serious books if you want. Look, I'm not telling you can't, but I haven't watched the news since 2020.
Yeah, if you find yourself struggling with something, maybe look at where it's coming from.
And I just know myself enough to know that my brain will hit a loop.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's something bad or I see something bad, it can just loop and loop and loop.
Mhm.
And I got to get off of that hamster
You know
wheel.
what's so funny? Someone, when we were in California, one of our listeners said something about oh, do you want me to get you a decaf coffee? And I was like, no.
You're like, what are you talking about?
But in 2019 and 2020, I went 2 years caffeine free.
Yeah.
And I talked about it on the podcast.
Right.
So if they listen to those episodes from back then, they may think I'm still caffeine free. But the reason I bring that up is because sometimes I am caffeine free. It just depends on, I'm trying to see if I feel like I'm more anxious than usual and can't put my finger on it, no caffeine.
Right.
Because it might just be the the jitters, or like, I don't
Mhm.
need caffeine in addition to this stressful transaction.
Yeah.
Like, I need to.
That's a good point.
It's just about like, maybe I'll take a week off of caffeine.
right.
It's like being mindful, taking the time to check in with yourself to be like,
Mhm.
what is this feeling? And do I need to lay off social media? Do I
Like,
need to
can I
unfollow?
figure out where it's coming from?
Yes.
Because, but there's so many different stimuli that are coming into you, and there's so many variables. It's really hard to figure out. Okay. But they're all adding up until a
Yes.
tipping point, right?
Yes.
So maybe it's not just the caffeine, but it's the
Right.
caffeine plus the transaction plus
Mhm.
someone's sick at home. Like they all add up, and then all of a sudden you reach a tipping point.
Yes.
So removing one sets back your tipping point.
Right.
All right, that brings up a really interesting principle that my physical therapist taught me. She's like, whenever they were doing all of my interviews and stuff, and this was after my surgery in 2022, they were like, okay, you have a certain capacity and then you have demand. Okay, so your body has a certain capacity of what it can handle, and then there's the demand. So if you have to stay up late a lot to do some extra work or a project, or you're getting up early to like do something for your kids or whatever, and it's more demanding than normal, or you have a transaction that's harder, or something is going on, or or you get sick. It's higher demand. But what we were doing in therapy was trying to increase my capacity. So learning how to relax and calm my central nervous system, or do like lifting weights,
Mhm.
make yourself stronger so that
Your capacity
is higher.
Yes.
So when the demand gets higher, your capacity to handle that has increased. So
I like that. Get stronger.
yes.
I
So
love
what
that.
can you do to increase your capacity? Because sometimes you can't control the demand of your life, right?
Mhm.
I mean, things are happening all the time that are out of your control,
Yeah.
but you can control your capacity,
Mhm.
and you can impact it and make it bigger.
Yeah,
So I thought that was really interesting.
that is.
Last thing on the mindset and the culture of what you're consuming. Think about today. Who are your cheerleaders? Like, who makes you
Mhm.
feel better? How do you see more of that? How do you spend
Mhm.
more time with that person? Is your mom always like, you can do this, it's going great, take your mom to lunch?
Mhm.
Like, who is it on, your social media that you're like, that's just makes me smile? And
Yeah.
maybe it's something completely unrelated to your field, or like you have to introduce those positive messages.
For sure.
Okay.
Mhm.
What else do you want to share?
I had another quote
Let's hear
that I
it.
really liked. Okay, it was, everybody has two lives. The second one begins when you realize you only have one.
Oh, I've heard that before.
I just heard that for the first time.
That's really good.
And was like,
Oh.
I love that.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't hit that until they've had like a near-death experience.
I know. And I'm like, I don't want to have a near-death experience to have to realize that.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could just realize
I feel that way. I feel like I'm pretty good about being cognizant of what's going on and how it's changing. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, you won't realize that you only have this time with your kids until they're gone. I'm like, BS. I'm
Yeah.
very aware they're getting older all the time.
Yeah.
And I try to be intentional with how I spend time with them.
Yes. It doesn't make it any less sadder that
No,
they're,
I mean, they're
growing up, you know?
But I like each age, and I try
Yeah.
to celebrate and appreciate it, sort of like living in a sense of gratitude. You
Yeah.
know, like, and I also try to appreciate the fact that I don't miss some of the things from when they were little.
Right.
Like, sure, they were cute and cuddly, but they also cried a lot, and needed a lot of attention, and they were sick a lot.
Right.
Like, it's not like we can't selectively remember just the good stuff and be like, I'm so sad that they're not little anymore. I'm like, but they were also difficult then.
Yeah.
Can we
It wasn't
celebrate?
just all good.
I'm just trying to celebrate.
What is it called when you can only see the good when you look back? Rose-colored glasses.
Yes, 100%.
You
Rose-colored
forget
glasses.
all the negative things
Yeah.
after they've passed.
This is the same thing with like an ex or something.
Yeah.
You're like, it
You're
was
like,
so great.
You were so great. It's like,
No.
No, he wasn't.
Not so
though.
great. Not so great. I liked this one while we're being motivational for our Monday.
Okay.
Someday is not a day of the week.
That's so good.
We're on Monday. That was Denise
Someday.
Brennan Nelson. Someday is not a day of the week. Here's a good one. If you are serious about changing your life, you'll find a way. If you're not, you'll find an excuse.
Oh.
That was Jen Sincero, and that's why I was asking you. She wrote the book, You Are a Badass.
Oh.
Sorry, y'all. But
Yeah.
that's beep. Yeah, whatever. If you are serious about changing your life, you'll find a way. If you're not, you'll find an excuse.
That's the truth.
100%.
So in the book that Sarah just mentioned
The
that I
Choice.
read about. It's called The Choice. It's actually
You liked the book.
It was an excellent book.
Right.
Sarah also liked the book. So it's about a lady that survived. Okay, she was a teenager.
The Holocaust.
She survived the Holocaust.
Okay.
She was a teenager, lost everything, came out on the other side. She has a choice. Am I gonna let this? How am I gonna handle this? Okay, and she had a journey for sure. But when she was older, she really wanted to become a doctor. And she was like, but like, I'm about to be, like, I'll be 50 by the time I finish school. Like, I'll be 50 by the time I finish medical school. And one of her friends said, well, do you want to be 50 and be 50? Or do you want to be 50 and be a doctor?
It's great.
And she was like, well, I guess I want to be 50 and be a doctor. And she's still alive today.
Wow.
And she's in her 90s.
It's amazing.
And still working.
Right.
So she's had 40-something years of getting to do that.
And she just had a different way of looking at things.
Yes.
She chose the right.
She chose the right way to look at
Perspective.
things. For sure.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how about this? I didn't get there by wishing for it or hoping for it, but by working for it. Estee Lauder.
Beautiful.
I think that for every Monday this year, you should just maybe write something down today that you can revisit every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite quote from today. Go find one or list one of these. Or maybe it's, just whatever your goals of how you want to feel at the end of the year. Just write it down and then read it every Monday. It doesn't have to be, a big thing, but just something.
Yeah.
Okay. The most effective way to do it is to do it.
Amelia. I like that.
Amelia Earhart. The most effective way to do it is to do it.
Goes back to done is better than perfect.
Right. I mean, like, just get out there and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it was a pretty good slogan.
Just do it.
Did you see that movie?
Mm-mm.
Air?
No.
It's with Matt Damon. You should watch it. It's an excellent business movie.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, so good. Because
Okay.
that's really what it is. It's a business movie. And if anyone hasn't seen Air, I encourage you to watch it because you kind of see, I mean, it's a true story or based on a true story. I don't know how many of the details are exactly right, but like you kind of see where Just Do It came from and like how Nike's became like this big brand and how they got Michael Jordan. And it's very interesting.
Interesting.
I would have, but Just Do It was really it was a great marketing slogan. And it just isn't how it started off. But okay, real change, enduring change happens one step at a time.
Real change.
Enduring change.
Enduring change.
Yeah, happens one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
That's RBG.
Mm-hmm.
But that reminds me of Atomic Habits. If you haven't read Atomic Habits, that would be the one I would put at the top of my list for a new year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so good.
So good. I
Or
might
get
listen
his-
to it again.
Get his newsletter.
Yeah, just the newsletter is
God,
great.
it's so good. So good. Anything else that you changed in 23 that you're going to keep with you in 24?
That I'm keeping with me. I'll keep seeing you on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Great. I'm so pleased. Wonderful. That'll mean a lot to me. Do you think we'll see more listeners in person this year?
I don't know. I don't know how.
You enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it.
You don't know
I don't know
how.
that I want to do another expo.
No, but there's so many ways we could see the people.
Yeah, I would love to see some people in
Okay.
real life.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I remember added the lemon water.
Yes.
I'm going to keep doing it.
Good.
I enjoy it every morning.
Wonderful.
And it's really all I got here.
Okay.
Here's another thing that's going to be new for 2024
Oh.
that I am over the moon excited about.
Tell me.
I don't have to read toast this year.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, y'all, don't get me wrong. I love your toast. Love them.
Mm-hmm.
I mispronounce them. I read them all crazy. I'm staring at the paper. But for at least about 3/4 of this year, these toasts are going to come straight out of your mouths.
Because we have all of your recorded toasts from California.
This is like a gift they have given to me for 2024.
Yeah.
Because I went right before we recorded, I'm like, oh, I got to get a toast. I'm like,
No, I don't.
Sure don't.
No, I don't.
Sure don't.
It's amazing.
So everyone, I mean, I guess at this point now we're going to just start saying goodbye and then you'll get the toast.
Yeah.
Because
The clip will play.
we don't have to do the toast.
And now a toast.
From one of our sweet listeners.
Yeah.
Do you have a word for the year before we get to the toast?
Thrive.
I love that. I think I decided on mine today, and I'm going with a 2-word phrase.
Okay.
Easy impact.
Easy impact. Like, keep it simple.
Yeah, because I want everything to be easy.
Okay.
But I also want to make an impact.
Okay.
But I don't want it to like, y'all will see what I mean whenever you hear next week.
If it works, it works. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Come, y'all. If you enjoyed today, next week.
Ooh, it's good.
It's so good.
Next week we
you
have
need
a
to
guest.
tune in next week. Yeah.
It's a neurologist, and she's taken us on a little trip in our brain.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's real good. And I think she's the one who helped me figure out what I wanted. So I'm like, I want it to be impact, but that sounds like a lot of work. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Impact means like work harder.
I'm doing something. It's great impact. You know, like impact aerobics. Like it's like high impact. That feels hard.
Yeah.
So I needed to pair it with something that did not feel hard.
Right.
I'm like easy impact.
Yes.
Or simple impact.
Yes.
Maybe easy. I don't know. Stay tuned.
Okay.
And just remember, you have 52 Mondays this year and a lanyap day.
Great.
A whole extra day.
A whole extra day. 24 hours.
I'm pretty sure I wrote a big journal. Oh my God, I need to go find it because 4 years would be 2020. So it would have been right before COVID was our last
leap year.
And I'm pretty sure I wrote like a really lengthy journal entry because I'm like, this day only happens once every 4 years.
You were so motivated and inspired by the leap year.
Who could not be inspired by a leap year?
Hey, if you have a birthday in the leap year, I just want to know.
You know, yeah, does that
DM
work?
us.
Do you decide? When do you celebrate your birthday non-leap year?
Yeah.
Is it March 1st? Is it February 28th?
What would you, no, 27th? 28th. What would you do?
I would obviously choose March 1st because my real birthday is March 3rd. So I'm very partial to the month of March.
What's your birthstone in March?
Like aquamarine.
Okay, February's purple.
Oh, well, I guess you could pick based on a
color preference.
But if I'm picking, I'm going blue all day.
It seems like if you were born on a leap year, you're a February birthday.
I know it does, but I think you get to choose. They just let you pick, or you have two. My dad has 2 birthdays.
Oh.
His birthday is November 29th per his mother, my grandmother's
per his
word.
mother.
But his birth certificate says November 30th. She swears they got it wrong.
Okay.
So technically, in the eyes of the law, it's on the 30th. But at home, we celebrated on the 29th.
Yes.
Okay, just a little extra something there for you, little lanyap.
Wow.
Okay, and here comes our toast from our sweet listener.
Okay, great.
Hey, y'all enjoy, and
Bye.
goodbye.
Hey, y'all, this is Erin Baker from College Station, Texas. I'd like to toast the Women's Council of Brazos Valley and just say congratulations on your upcoming 2024 year.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to ratethispodcast.com/hustlehumbly and leave us a review or drop a comment if you're listening on Spotify.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast. Don't forget to find all of the free resources at hustlehumblypodcast.com/resources.
See you next week.